So we had the press conference for Alexander Usyk versus Daniel Dubois. They done the face-off. We're gonna watch it. I'm certainly gonna watch it. Will I be paying for it? Probably not, but we'll wait and see. In terms of what was being said at the press conference, I mean, it wasn't exactly the most entertaining press conference you'll ever see. To be expected, Usyk, his English is not his strongest subject, obviously. Daniel Dubois is not, he's a man of few words, to say the least. Dev Sani was actually representing Frank Warren there at the press conference. And Dev Sani, with him, I've interviewed Dev Sani, and he's actually, just as a person, I don't think he's that bad of a person. It's funny in a way. It's almost comical with him, the way he is so pro Queensbury. Obviously, he's employed by them. I think he does a lot of work for them. So he's obviously going to be pro Queensbury. But he does it in a jovial way. In a way where, maybe it is his opinion, I don't know. But in a funny kind of way, if you know what I mean. That's why I don't really, when he's picking at in the yard to beat Artur Beterbiev, he's picking, obviously, Daniel Dubois, making a case for him beating Alexander Usyk. He does it in such a comical sort of way. And maybe it's his voice, I don't know, but you don't really be too pushed about that. I mean, I really don't. And obviously, I've met Dev Sani and chat with him, and as I said, away from just pushing Queensbury, he seems like an okay guy. But what I really want to talk about here is Alex Krassyuk. He was obviously interviewed by Seconds Out, because there was obviously a lot of boxing personnel at this press conference. And, he was asked, about his thoughts on the Tyson Fury Francis Ngannou exhibition, right? Because that's apparently what it's going to be. It's going to be an exhibition. Well, he actually feels Tyson Fury should be stripped of his WBC title if he fights Francis Ngannou next. Exhibition regardless. He said he's not actually breaking any of the WBC rules, but from a sports point of view, pure boxing, he has to be stripped. So Alex Krassyuk, obviously, and I think that's one of the reasons why we don't see Bob Arum. Bob Arum has not really been chiving in too much on the whole Fury Usyk situation, but more Warren. Alex Krassyuk has a good relationship with Bob Arum, and I think Bob Arum is none too pleased about how this situation has gone on. So I think he's kind of just keeping. He's said a few things in the past, but I think he's just going to keep quiet for the time being. In terms of the WBC, well, we know that's not going to happen, right? It is not going to happen. The WBC, they really are a horrendous sanctioning body. They really, truly are. The way it is with them, they have their favourites and then they have their champions. That's probably the best way to describe it. They have their regular champions who've won a title, who picked it up, etc. And then they have their favourites. The regular champions get mandatories chucked at them. Sometimes tricky, they get mandatories chucked at them. There's no real room for negotiations. With their favourite champions, mandatory is an alien concept. It really is. It's an alien concept. I mean, the WBC had Deontay Wilder nearly 3 years before he had to fight a mandatory, because he won it in January 2015. It was November 2015 or 2017 before he fought Stavern of all people as mandatory. Didn't have to do another mandatory till 2019. That was Dominic Brazil. And then the next mandatory was in 2022. It was Dillian White, because Fury actually wasn't mandatory. Fury wasn't mandatory in 2018. He was ordered to have the rematch. He chose to have the interim fights, and obviously Wilder had his fights. But that wasn't a mandatory defence. And obviously the Wilder rematch was in the contract. So they've done, since 2015, 3 mandatories, am I right? Dillian White, Dominic Brazil. Yeah, 3 mandatories since 2015 for heavyweight. And yet you look at Artur Beterbiev, mandatory. Callum Smith, no getting out of it. No negotiation with Dmitry Bivol. Not even going to allow that. It's countless other examples of it where they're just instantly mandatory, and then there's a new mandatory waiting in the wing. But other divisions, it's just like mandatory. Oh yeah, that's a once every 3 year type of job. Don't worry about that. So they got to do that. And, Tyson Fury has been vocal about that because he obviously heard about that. So he obviously made a video and chived in and he said, well, they're not going to strip me because I don't have a mandatory. But once they do call me a mandatory, I'll beat him like all the other mandatories. He's had one mandatory his whole career. It's like saying, this is my record collection and you've only got one record. That's literally what it's like. But in terms of fear being stripped, it ain't gonna strip them. They ain't. I think the way to the WBC, if you're making money, good money, it's all good. I mean, Charlo hasn't had a fight in 2 years. It's likely he won't have a fight probably till the back end of the year, and God knows against two. And they haven't stripped him yet, and they point blank refuse to do it. But I'll give you. I've used this example, but it's a good example. It's like Tony Bellew when he won that title off Makabu. Myris Briedis was the mandatory, and I have no doubt that had the David Haye fight not come to fruition, then Bellew would have defended against Myris Briedis, because Briedis was already fighting on Bellew's undercard when he fought BJ Flores and he fought Simon Vallini in an 8-rounder on the undercard of that fight. So they were planning on doing Briedis versus Bellew, but obviously the David Haye fight came up, so he moved up to heavyweight to fight Myris Briedis. Instantly, title gone, Myris Briedis fighting for the vacant title. Instantly, without just literally like boom, instantly, yep, title gone. They didn't even give Bellew a chance, right? So, and look, they made Bellew champion in recess, but why can't they just do that for, like, Charlo's out of the ring for 2 years, why can't you just make him champion in recess? And have that title not be dormant, have people actually fight for it, have someone try and say, okay, look, I can be middleweight champion, instead of just leaving it there and have it. What's the point in fighting for a mandatory position if you're going to have to wait around for 2 to 3 years to actually get it, So that is the situation with the WBC. Krassyuk saying that they should strip Fury, they ain't going to strip him. It doesn't matter what he does, they will not strip him. I would imagine anyway. It's like that with a lot of fighters. With Canelo could walk on water as far as Sullivan's concerned. Canelo can do whatever he likes. They ain't gonna strip him. Who else? They haven't stripped Charlo. Wilder, they were never going to strip him when he was champion. I'm trying to think who else. Obviously Spence. Yeah, they probably wouldn't strip him either. In fact, I don't even think did they. No, maybe they did. I'm not sure if they did an interim title when he was injured, but Spence, he'd probably get away with it. They're just very strange like that, WBC. They're very strange. That's why I don't really like the IBF and WBO are not perfect. They're certainly not. Neither one of them is perfect, but they are more. They're not as biased in favor of certain fighters in certain divisions. With them, it's a case of if there's a mandatory, we're going to enforce it. If you can come to an arrangement, fair enough. Sometimes they don't even give them that chance, but they're strict. They will say, no, you can't get that fight over the line, mandatories are coming. With WBC, it's just like, mandatory for you, whatever fighter will do. That's the best way you can describe it. Mandatory for you, whatever fighter will do. There you go. Anyway, I'll leave you there, people. Hope you enjoyed the video. Smash the like button if you thought. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think Tyson Fury, if he does agree, or if we do get the announcement that he's going to have a fight with Francis Ngannou, albeit an exhibition, that should be a case of that belt goes? Technically, he's not breaking any rules, and I'm just going to chive in here. It wasn't uncommon back in the days for champions, and I'm talking 80s, 70s, 60s, 50s, go back to the 30s, 20s. I think Jack Dempsey did it as well. Jack Johnson, I'm pretty sure, did it as well, going way back. It wasn't uncommon for fighters to have exhibitions while still being champion. It wasn't uncommon at all. So let me know your thoughts. Hope you enjoyed it, people. Smash the like button.